WNBA players who were threatening to go on strike last month are now pleading to play for their former pay, and Unrivaled just lost 65% of their viewership in a single year. Allow me to demonstrate in real time how this empire is collapsing.
I've been telling you guys there is no interest in pretend basketball. I have been telling you guys for years, as the mainstream media has intentionally lied to us. These elite athletes are amazing! This is the best basketball in the world! Woohoo!
The figures are severe and they don't lie. Season 2 of Unrivaled debuted with 107,000 viewers on TNT. Opening night brought in 313,000 last year. It's not a dip. That would be a nosedive down a precipice. This is the part that no one wants to say out. The sole attraction in women's basketball just serves to highlight how unique she is.
Season 2 of Unrivaled, opening night. They averaged 107,000 viewers on TNT. That is a 65% decline compared to last year.
Because no one is watching when Caitlin Clark isn't on your screen. Not Asia Wilson, not Paige Beckers, nor Angel Reese, or whatever her name is this week. Paige Beckers is being paid $348,000 by Unrivaled to bring in $17,000. Calculate that business model. I'll hold off. Millions were spent by TNT to advertise this league. Women's basketball was booming, according to the mainstream media. They told us that we should pay attention to and support exceptional athletes. However, the audience's remarks were terrible. More women's basketball is not what we want. Less is what we desire. Let's now discuss the true motivation for the creation of Unrivaled. Giving WNBA players leverage appears to be the main goal. Giving them choices will enable them to demand better contracts. Noble, huh? However, there is a small issue with such approach. Your backup plan needs to be functional. During discussions, Unrivaled was meant to be their secret weapon. Knowing they had somewhere else to go, WNBA players would enter that boardroom. They would make threats to depart. 30% of overall revenue would be their requirement. Because Unrivaled would catch them if they fell, they would remain steadfast. However, no one is being caught by Unrivaled. It's dropping more quickly than they are. Today was supposed to be the deadline for the collective bargaining agreement. They are obviously failing to meet it. This is where things get really crazy, though. WNBA players are reportedly thinking about playing under the previous CBA after months of declaring they would go on strike in response to all that harsh language about standing firm and fighting for what they deserve. The identical agreement was deemed offensive. They claimed that the same breadcrumbs were insufficient.
For months now, WNBA players have publicly claimed that we are standing firm, we are fighting for our right to be overpaid, we are fighting for our right to be compensated with money we have no way of earning.
In less than 2 months, how do you go from wanting millions to taking pesos? I'll explain precisely how. Your leverage is diminished. WNBA players lose bargaining strength each time Unrivaled posts another humiliating rating. The athlete's position deteriorates each time TNT management see those figures and doubt their investment. They were awarded 50% of net revenue by the NBA. That's what's left over after spending. Sounds reasonable for a league that has been losing money for 30 years in a row, doesn't it? WNBA players, however, rejected it. 30% of gross sales is what they seek. That is the sum before costs are deducted. The league would lose $700 million under that plan, which is more than they have lost in their 3 decades of existence. Allow me to dissect this madness. They are being offered contracts for millions of dollars by the league. That's exactly what they requested in the first place. However, they would prefer to play for their previous salary than accept what they first demanded, since they are now so entitled, obstinate, and self-assured. The power provider does not take beliefs as money, as far as I can see. When rent is due, your landlord doesn't give a damn about your morals. What's lovely about all of this, you ask? The market is operating as it should. It's being honest with us. All those articles about the growth of women's basketball are a lie. Fiction, all those boasts regarding the emergence of new stars. The growth wasn't genuine. While the media portrayed it as a revolution, it was actually going from nothing to somewhat more than nothing. Consider what it meant to play under the previous CBA. Players in the WNBA might strike without warning at any time. The league has no motivation to expedite talks. Why would they do that? Their brand is already damaged by the product on the court. Let these players demonstrate to everyone how interchangeable they are. Allow them to stroll. Watch what transpires. This is what everyone is thinking but no one is saying. NBA subsidies are the only thing sustaining the WNBA. Owners who are billionaires have shown patience. They have put millions of dollars into a league that only produces setbacks, grievances, and issues. However, there are limits to that patience. And those boundaries are being put to the test as Unrivaled demonstrates that these players have no other market. Nisa Collier is free to discuss sustainability for as long as she wishes. Unrivaled can be positioned as the future by Brianna Stewart. The writing is on the wall, though, if your opening night loses 65% of the already dismal crowd from the previous year. TNT cannot continue to invest in a product that is unable to attract flies to fresh trash. Compared to upstart leagues, the WNBA has one edge: longevity. They have withstood 30 years of setbacks. They were able to survive because of the NBA, but they weren't thriving. Now that every other league has failed, WNBA players need to be thankful for what they have. Rather, they are expecting more from a system that provides them with everything. They won't be saved by Project Polsun or any other league initiative. These investors consistently make the same error. They believe the product is decent but not well advertised. They believe that women's basketball will find its audience with sufficient promotion and the appropriate platform. They're not correct. This product has been frequently presented to the audience. Every time, they have turned it down. The epitome of phony stardom is Paige Beckers. She is among Unrivaled's top-paid players. She is continuously hyped by the media. She is expected to be the next big thing. However, 107,000 people came to see her. That's a volleyball match in college. That is a Tuesday afternoon minor league baseball game. It's not a star. That is a marketing campaign that poses as a celebrity. The WNBA Players Union committed a disastrous error of judgment. They believed that because of Caitlin Clark's popularity, the league as a whole was improving. They believed that since each player had a single generational talent, they should all receive generational compensation. They persuaded themselves that correlation is equivalent to causality. Right now, reality is striking them more forcefully than an elbow to the face from Brittany Gurrier. Observe how quickly the story shifts if the 2026 season takes place under the previous CBA. Individual accords will be accepted first by the same players who are discussing unity. The same athletes who are calling for equity will understand that equity entails dividing pennies. Beliefs quickly become flexible when they can't cover your mortgage. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed. The WNBA is not necessary for the NBA. Not for anything, not for publicity, not for social credit. It's charity dressed as a partnership. It ends the instant it is no longer worth the trouble. Players in the WNBA continue to exert pressure as though they have power. They don't. With each unparalleled broadcast, their delusion of leverage is being shattered. You won't hear this from the mainstream media. They will continue to advance the story. They will continue to act as though progress is being made. The ratings don't give a damn about storylines, but they will continue to refer to inferior players as exceptional athletes. Agendas don't matter to the audience. Furthermore, the market doesn't give a damn about emotions. One league failing is not the only example of unmatched failure. It is evidence that there is a limit to women's basketball as a commercial commodity. Caitlin Clark is that ceiling. You got 107,000 viewers on a big network without her. You receive meaningful numbers when you work with her. The biosphere as a whole collapses back into irrelevance when she is removed. This is what transpires next. WNBA players either agree to anything akin to the previous CBA or go on strike and be replaced. After this season, Unrivaled either closes or continues to waste investor funds until someone pulls the plug. The media continues to fabricate stories about growth that isn't taking place. And since nothing really changed, we'll be having the same discussion in a year. The house of cards is collapsing. The emperor is naked. Choose a metaphor. All of them are applicable. With Caitlin Clark, women's basketball was given a fantastic opportunity. Rather than constructing around her, they harbored animosity towards her. They insisted that fictitious interest be valued equally rather than profiting from actual interest. They are now picking up a lesson that the market imparts to everyone. You are ultimately only worth what someone is willing to pay, not what you believe you are worth. Please share your thoughts on whether WNBA players should go on strike or accept the current terms. I'm not sure which choice is more embarrassing right now.